this auspicious opportunity to launch this sound, launch this ministry in this region. We are here out of obedience. So we decree and declare thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Thank you because you are the Lord of the harvest. Thank you for what you're about to do in Riveria. Thank you for what you're about to do in West Palm Beach. Thank you for what it is you're about to do in Palm Beach County. May today be a reference point as we release this sound in the airways. Hallelujah. 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 Do a new thing, oh God. Do a new thing, oh God. Do a new thing, oh God. And let it spring forth. Thank you, oh God. As we submit and we surrender to your will and to your way. We bless you for what it is you're about to do in this region. What you're about to do in this assignment. In Jesus' name. Listen to me. One of our intentions and our agendas as God has released us out of obedience to this particular region and into this particular context, we have not as of yet engaged any level of intensive marketing or trying to brand and try to put our name out there as of yet, because I wanted to make sure that anytime you're planning a church and starting a new church, foundationally, of course, when you're the new kid on the block, everybody comes.
Amen.
But we just don't want permanent visitors.
Come on, man.
We want people who are invested in our prophetic and apostolic assignment in this region. One of the things the Lord has spoke to me concerning this particular area and this geographical location. There are many promises for Riveria Beach, Florida. Prophetic promises. There is a river here. God has sent us into this context in this particular region to stir that water. People are looking for a sound. I want to make sure that all of you that are a part of this initial launch, this is not an official launch, I just wanted to break ground. I didn't want to leave out of May without breaking ground. And this is why, because I believe God is bringing us to a Rehoboth season. And that's what June will be for a lot of you in this room. God is making room for you. Did you just hear what I said? I said God is making room for you. So, those of you who become accustomed with me and acquainted with this ministry, we're prophetic in context. We're prophetic in assignment. Everything is not by incident or accident or coincidence. It was a struggle to get here, literally. And I'll share this a brief moment. I engage my time of meditation in a local park that I do every time I'm preparing for ministry, especially when I'm going out of town or even if I'm preaching at our home church in Stuart, Florida. And I was sitting there listening to the music around 6:30. And about 7:15 a.m. I was getting ready to leave and my car would not start.
My God.
And I sat there for literally almost 45 minutes to an hour. And this is why I'm running behind time, because I just couldn't get the car to start. And then we pressed to get here, and then we got off the exit, and lo and behold, there's a car flipped over in the middle of the freeway.
Jesus.
For whatever that distraction is.
Thank you, God.
I know it's a sure confidence.
Yes, it is.
That this is the Lord's doing. I said it's marvelous. It's marvelous in our eyes. So before I go into the word of the Lord, and I will preach in a few moments, this moment now is very monumental to me. It's heavy with a lot of mixed emotions. Riveria Beach is where I cut my teeth, where I got my start. At the age of 8 years old, I was licensed and ordained just a few blocks away in Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church. Dr. Arthur C. Evans. I'm not a foreigner to this region. I was literally raised in West Palm Beach. And for a brief time, I stayed in an area called Chillingsworth. And then I'm a product of the projects because I moved on 7th Street. Now, back in the day, 7th Street ain't like it is right now, all fancy looking and stuff. I lived at a time where, we would go to sleep and folk would be running from the police right in our backyard and helicopters and sirens going off all night. This is home for me. I was a product of Westward Elementary, UB Kinsey, Parkview Elementary School of the Arts, first graduating class of that school, and then on to Middle School of the Arts, first graduating class of that particular context, and then I went to Inlet Grove for a few moments, and then I moved to Georgia, and that's just my history.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to kind of put that in the atmosphere.
Yes.
Because the enemy would like to make you think you don't belong here, but I belong here. I said I belong here. 15 years I've been away from home. My home church and my pastor is still alive, and in the next few weeks he's going to come in and officially affirm me, because I think it is necessary before God closes his eyes and he laid down his sword and shield and study war no more. That God has given us this full circle experience for him to affirm a seed he planted.
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
Almost 22 years ago.
Yes.
Somebody that believed in me and released me. Now I'm coming full circle, and I'm happy to be in this region.
Yes.
One of the things we want to be known as is that we are a place that has a sound.
Yes.
And that sound will reverb and crescendo and echo throughout this region.
Yes.
Until the masses come.
Yes.
And this is just our beginning place. This is not our church. Pastor David Chandler is here. We thank him for
Thank the Lord. Hallelujah.
because he'll be permanently locked in the archives of the history of this move. That God used him to open the door.
Yes.
To give us an opportunity to release this ministry. Many are coming, and I am sure of it. You that are in this room today, and I'm moving, you are first partakers of this glory that is getting ready to be released. And I don't think you're here by incident or accident. I don't believe you're here to spectate or just participate in something because it is new. I'm thoroughly convinced if you're here today, somewhere in the context of the journey of Harvest City Church, you are plugged in and you're locked in, whether it is by your presence or by your intercession, whether it's by your push or by your prayers.
Thank you, Lord.
And you are partnering with me today.
Yes.
Because we are laying that foundation on today. This is what I want you to do, and then I'm going to move into the word of the Lord. I want you to lift your hands in the presence of the Lord. I'm a worshiper before I am a warrior. And I want to make certain this atmosphere knows that, this region knows that when we can't do nothing else, the basic foundation level of our Christian experience is that we know we are worshipers. And they that worship the Lord must worship him in spirit and in truth. He seeketh such to worship. He lives in our worship. And I just don't want to start another church. The city is in flux with churches. I want this to be a movement. I want this to be a movement that people are drawn to this way because we are worship. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We see. Receive our praise, oh God. Receive our praise, oh God. Sanctify us today. Receive first service, we have to set the standard. We have to set the standard. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're setting the standard. That's what our house will be known for. We are a worshiping church. I said we are a worshiping church. Come on, set that standard tonight. Set that standard. Thank you. We have the tongue of the Lord. We speak a word this season. Father, let the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight. Oh Lord, you are our strength. You are our redeemer. Have thine own way, Lord. Have thine own way. Thou art the power we are declared. Oh, let's make us. Fill us till we overflow. In Jesus' name. God is doing something special. I want you to go hug 3 people and tell them we're going up from here. Come on.
We're going up from here. We're going up. We're going up. We're going up. Going up from here. Going up from here. My God.
We are a worshiping church.
Not
only are we a worshiping church, but we won't waste a praise.
Amen.
Because we know when praises go up, not blessings come down, God steps in. And I don't know what you need God to step into the day, but I'm telling you, if you release just a praise, He's going to step right on it. I tell somebody to open up. prophesy we will lay foundation for discipleship as we are very intentional about growing this church and growing this sound. We're not here temporarily. We are here permanently. And I want to release that in the atmosphere because this is not a fad for us. We've gone through much prayer and travail and fasting and waiting on the timing of the Lord. Just a little history. This year in October, I would have engaged the pastoralship for the past literally 12 years. I started pastoring at the age of 19, and I was called into a church, and God gave us favor and grace to rebrand, rename, or relaunch the church. Lord. And I've been resident in Stuart, Florida, which is about 35 minutes north of here, for the past 12 years since upcoming October. And very sure of my apostolic assignment and just making sure that I was in the timing of the Lord, I realized that Stuart was my behind the mountain experience. And all that I needed to learn and grow and groom through, I refused to be just another status quo preacher out there starting stuff and ain't finishing nothing. And I wanted to make sure that the context of my own personal life was in a mature place enough so I can branch out and grow and launch out into what God has assigned me to do. This July, I would have been married to one woman successfully for 13 years. Yeah, 13. And you know, ain't no shade on nobody else. I'm just telling my own testimony. All of my children are from one woman.
That's all right.
That woman is my wife. She's not here today because we are in a residential transition. I resided in Port St. Lucie for several years, and I just felt the compelling and the leading of the Lord to become resident back in Stuart because of the multiplicity of my extensions in this season. I just needed to be in a central place. We are launching here on the radar. Fort Myers is coming next.
Come on!
It's on the radar. You know, I'm in a season now where I'm just flowing in my apostolic assignment. You know, the people that you see standing around and serving, these is just a little part of the people that make up Stuart. They understood that I was walking out here on blind faith. We put it out there. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. I've been telling them all week I've been a nervous wreck because one of the disappointments is telling folk you're coming into the city and nobody shows up.
That's right.
And because we didn't really do any heavy marketing and all that kind of good stuff. We just by faith. One of the things that God told me is, He said, I won't let social media grow your church. It's going to be by word of mouth, and disciples will beget disciples. And I felt a little vulnerable because it felt like I was not in control. But I know God is in control.
Yes, He is.
By next Saturday, the crowd will be double the size. As we keep going, it'll get even bigger. And keep just growing. Because one of the things the Lord promised me, and this is why we named the church Harvest City Church, our home church in Stuart, Florida, is City Church. But God told me to put harvest in it because He's going to allow me to experience an aggressive growth rate here in Riveria. And we're after a harvest. That's why we're here. We're after a harvest. And this is the first service, so I have to do a lot of just talking so you can become familiar with why we are here. You know, it's not here because we were trying to jump in a fad of starting a second location or a third location. This has been a long time coming. A long time coming. Even in seasons of perplexity when I thought I would start somewhere else, God just shut those doors. We often preach about the steps of God, but we don't often preach about the stops of God.
Come on, that's true.
God just don't order your steps, He'll order your stops.
Yes, He does.
Many are the plans of a man's heart. He devises his own plans. But it is the Lord who orders His steps. This is what I am convinced of. We are in the ordered steps of God. We are in a season of the leading of the Lord. And eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and have not entered into the hearts of man what God is getting ready to do, and you are partakers of this divine grace and divine glory. Final thing I'll say within that vein is, I know the Harvest City Church is an answered prayer to people who have been praying in Palm Beach County. That's what I do know. I really want to see the manifestation of that as time goes along, as God grooms us and grows us and does exploits through us. All of our team that is here, I want you to get familiar with these faces. Our pastor of worship, Pastor Natasha Pierce. Many of y'all know she's our pastor of worship. You know, these ain't people I just recruited. I can boldly and boastfully say these are my people. Flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. My dear friend and colleague and brother who is partnering with this assignment, Pastor James Bird. Come on, let's Pastor Charmaine Lepore, who operates as pastor of evangelism and steward. She's plugged into this context. Let's thank God for her, because we will see her up front and out front. Because we don't want to make the church personality driven. These people that are around here are genuine sons and daughters and covenant people. I've made sure that somewhere along the line, the DNA of my construct have been imparted and implanted in them. You know, when I don't have the mic, if they grab the mic, it'll be like I had the mic. I've lived long enough to know I don't have to have the mic to have the stage.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Because when you've invested in people and you've poured in people, I don't even have to be visible or be present, because I can trust where they are in God, because we've stewarded to make sure.
Amen.
And I'm not your average pastor, so we got to get that out of the box. I'm not your hands-on, call me anytime kind of pastor. I govern from an apostolic and prophetic place, because if you stick around long enough, you'll discover you'll come in on a Saturday and swear somebody told me your business on Friday.
That's right.
Because the word will find you somewhere.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And that's because we're trying to make sure we stay in a high holy place. And that's why we delegate authority, and we delegate position, and we delegate roles, so the people can be touched by that personal pastoral touch and grace. One of the graces of a bishop, and I am a bishop in the Lord's church, is that we pastor pastors.
Amen.
And the pastors pastor the people. And that's just kind of how this thing rolls and how this thing works. So if you are in between churches and you're looking for a church home, if you're trying to find where you fit or find the context of what it is God is calling you into in this season, please don't expect that if you're plugged into this context that you're going to have direct access. You see, Jesus had 12, and out of the 12 he had 3.
That's
and when
right.
he dealt with the multitude, he dealt with them accordingly. So he wouldn't compromise the sanctity and the stability of that anointing on his life. And I unapologetically govern my life like that, because this oil costs too much. No, it's expensive. To be caught up in people's petty problems. And I'm not crazy, because I've been pastoring long enough to know people come from all kind of contexts of life with all kind of problems and all kind of situations, and that is the purpose of the church. We are not hospice, we are hospital. We're here to revive you and bring you back to a place of stability and strength in your mind. If the word can't help you, Ricardo Weaver can't. My job is to feed the sheep. Feed the sheep. Now, all of this other stuff we do culturally to appease to the appetite of people's carnal expectations, that's on whoever said leader that is. I choose to stick by the Bible. And the only thing he told me to do when he founded the church of Peter's revelation, if you love me, Peter, feed my sheep. That's all I can do. And that's all I can offer you. Consequently, I want to lead you into this for about 15 minutes. I really don't have time to go into it. We'll probably make it a series. Y'all will discover that's how I am too. I'll start something, I'll finish it when I finish it. But I feel this is the word of the Lord, because I heard this resounding in my spirit as we were preparing for this assignment this morning and getting ready to launch the church. It's the perplexity of trying to find the right word. Should it be a word of empowerment? Because you don't want to scare people on the first service. Be like, Lord, he rapping and fanatical and make no apologies. And I was just trying to find one of them good, empowering words, and I thought I was going to be life coaching and get up. I told him to bring a stool, and then I sat on the stool, and the thing was broke. So I took that as a sign. God didn't want me to do that neither. And I was just trying to figure out what would be the flow of the ministry. One of the things I do understand and embrace as time goes along, we will identify that flow. So I'll just do what I do by nature, and we'll go along with it and see where the Lord takes us with it. Grab something to write with, because I am an apostolic teacher, which means I do a lot of preaching points, and those points are very intentional to kind of navigate you and steer you into your own personal context. The word is prophetic, but it is practical. You just won't shout, we'll get substance. I want to make sure you get that. I'm not just one of those redundant type of preachers. Sometimes I don't even read the scripture until the end. So don't even judge me off of that. I just ain't that kind of preacher. All right, so we'll just go along with how God has released us in this particular season. I want you to go to 1 Chronicles. 1 Chronicles 14. I want to show you something, and I pray it be a blessing to you. I've been preaching and steward that we are in a season of the leading of the Lord. Everybody say leading of the Lord.
Leading on the Lord.
Because we are in a season of the leading of the Lord, it is a demand on our ability and our attention that we be very intentional about making sure we find ourselves in a place that we are sensitive enough to hear God at the drop of a dime. Which means I don't have to go into a ritualistic pursuit or engagement to try to tap into the voice of God. That I should be walking so circumspectly that at any moment, whether you're in Walmart between the pickles and the mayonnaise, God can speak to you and your answer will be yes.
Yes.
Whether you're standing in Wells Fargo trying to cash your check, trying to hope that it don't bounce, praise the Lord.
Yes, Lord.
You know God can speak to you at a moment and your answer will be yes.
Yes.
And because we are in the season of the leading of the Lord, one of the main agendas and focuses of this particular season and its context is God is making sure that He detox our ability to see Him in another way. Consequently, ladies and gentlemen, what you are experiencing in the context of your own personal journey and experience is God refining your perspective. Your perspective. If God has not eliminated your problems, it's because He's trying to shift your perspective.
That's all
Many
right.
of you sitting in this room, please don't lie on Saturday morning. We are perplexed and burdened down with certain degrees of complexities and problems that keeps us in a perpetual frustration. We're pressing, but we're still problemed. We know how to go on anyhow, but that does not eliminate the fact that we're dealing with some stuff and we wish God just to give us some clarity. Because at least if He gave us some clarity, we can run on and see what the end is going to be.
Yes.
And because we are in that particular posture, or that, if I can say, that particular disposition, that whole frustration sometimes breeds what I am dubbing, because of this message today, it kind of breeds identity flaws. Consequently, a lot of us are wrestling with our identity. We don't know who we are. And because we don't know who we are, we don't know where we are, and we don't know where we're going. And we don't even know how we got here.
That's right.
And the foundational premise by which we get revelation concerning where God has us and where God has taken us to is being able to tap into the resolve of who we are, because who we are is the reason why that is what it is. Everything that is happening to you is happening out of the context of who God has called you to be.
Oh, yes. My God.
Everything that you're fighting with and dealing with and struggling with and everything you're matriculating through and going through is coming out of the context of who God has called you to be. Now, here's the frustration. You don't get to choose who you want to be. Y'all gonna talk back to me. Even before the foundations of the world, you were predestined.
My God, thank
God
you.
made you who you was going to be before your mama and your daddy even hooked up and decided or even revealed what the gender of your structure or your DNA would be. God had already called you to be who you was going to be. We don't get to choose who we want to be, and consequently, because we don't get to choose who we want to be, sometimes in the perplexities and the complexities of situations, when they become so intense, we're looking for an outlet, we're looking for a way out, and we engage in a behavior of trying to restructure our identity to match the context of what we are expecting outside of what God has intended.
That's good there.
God just has a way of beating you up and turning you around and whooping you and chastising you and reminding you of who you are called to be. David, the reason you have to fight bears and lions in the field is because you are anointed to slay giants. Everything that is happening to you in the trajectory of your journey is prophesying who you are. I want you to write this down. Your opposition prophesies your promotion. Your opposition prophesies your promotion. This is the main point, and I just got a little while to do this. This is the main point that God wants us to understand in this sermon, in this message today, is that He is restoring your identity. He is restoring your identity. And that's kind of what I want to deal with. He's restoring your identity. Write this down. You have an assignment. You have an assignment. You have an assignment. You are anointed for that assignment. You have an appointment in that assignment. And you are assured because of that assignment. You have an assignment. You are anointed for that assignment. You have an appointment in that assignment. And you are assured because of that assignment. This is what I want you to embrace, and this is what I want you to grasp. Because a lot of us, we have the idea of our identity. We have an idea. It's not deep. Given certain appetites for certain things, certain personality traits, certain contexts of companies we plug ourselves into, certain relationships that are becoming to us, that we engage in, that we embrace, certain things that we just naturally have a knack for. We do. We have an idea of our identity. But when you just have an idea of your identity, write this down, you are restricted to living by default. You are restricted to living by default. I'll explain myself with the Bible in a few moments. You are restricted to living by default. That's just when you have an idea of identity. It's not until that idea becomes a revelation, that revelation rearranges your reality. You go from just having an idea about your identity into investing in your identity.
Jesus.
Investing in your identity. A lot of us are doing a whole lot of what we want to do, but not who we are.
My God.
Not who we are. And we are discovering in this season, Pastor James, that synthetic substitute of trying to replace your authenticity with something that is convenient is the reason you are frustrated. You're trying to make a synthetic version of you be branded as your authenticity. And that frustration is the synthetic is convenient, but it ain't God.
Yes.
You see, you have not gotten a revelation of your identity until you become intentional about investing in your identity. When you are investing in your identity, then, ladies and gentlemen, write this down. You are now living by design. It is quite possible, hear me, to be doing a good job and have the wrong assignment. And it's because it's convenient. It was available. It was accessible, and you good with that. You know you've been called to preach, but you're happy just singing. Or you've been called to sing, but you're happy just ushering. Or you've been called into certain contexts, but you rather live by the default of just because you know how to do it don't mean you've been called to it. Why y'all quiet on Saturday? It's too early. Just because you have the expertise or the know-how to make it happen and can do a good job at it does not mean God endorses your labor. A lot of us are laboring in vain because we're not plugged into the context of our authentic identity. This is what I want to get you at today. This is what I want to get you at today, because productivity and the manifestations that you are getting ready to experience in these final 6 months of 2017 will all be based off your ability to invest in your identity and be unapologetic about it. And you don't have to give no explanations when it's just you. And you ain't got to try to be it because that's just who you are. And a lot of us are trying to water down who we really are to appease to the carnalistic expectations of people who can't even see themselves. How you gonna tell me who I am and you don't know who you are?
Yes, sir. That's good.
So we're going to get into a place of authentic identity. It leads me to this, First Chronicles chapter number 14. And just from a historical standpoint, let me bring you up to speed. I'll read it because once I read it, it makes sense. This is the story of David, Sunday School 101. Most of us grew up in the Baptist church, so we good Sunday school students. Sunday School 101, David was Jesse's 8th boy. Israel is weeping over God rejecting Saul. He tells Samuel to get up and go anoint one of Jesse's boys. Jesse to get there because he is not operating in authentic prophetic perspective, is assuming that those that have the face and the decorum and those that have the pedigree and the stature are the ones that are it. He did not realize, somebody gonna shout, it was the one who was overlooked that got the oil. Because you think because you ain't got the title or they don't recognize you for it or because they don't call you by name, you think you're the one that ain't got the oil, but you are the one that got the oil. The one that's overlooked and looked over. The one that they won't even consider. You being behind the mountain minding your own business, but there is an oil looking for you. Okay, so that's Jesse's boy. David is out in the field. He's tending his father's sheep. I like David because David he's dualistic in his engagement. He is not just a worker, but he's a worshiper. That is his sanity and his stability, that he has the ability to work, but not only does he have the ability to work, but he realizes the sustainment of his work ethic is wrapped up in his ability to worship. Some of your work is falling through because you don't know how to worship. And when you're feeling low, and when you don't feel like you got enough power, and you ain't got enough strength to get it done, ladies and gentlemen, go and worship. Because when you go and worship, worship will make a way. So David understands that. David understands that.
You understand.
David is a worshiping worker. He's a working worshiper, and he is a worshiping worker. Make a long story short, David, Samuel goes down and he calls all of Jesse's 7 boys and he tries to pour the horn on their heads and the oil wouldn't drop. Ladies and gentlemen, because I'm trying to make sure we got a preaching type church, which means what your oil, nobody can take it but you. Can I say this for 5 people that will scream, cloning is illegal in the house of God. You better get your own oil. Y'all ain't gonna help me. While you trying to imitate me, duplicate me, replicate me, get your own oil. Now understand, the only people that qualify for oil are the people that are found in the field. If you're not in the field working, you don't get no oil. You can't get no online class and being signed up to get no oil. No, baby. You got to go through trials and suffering. You got to go through fighting bears and fighting lions. And when God finds you worthy, your oil will pass.
My God.
Certainly
That's good, sir.
Obviously, if the oil ain't falling on number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, you got to have another chapter. Either he's in time or he's in the realm of the prophetic.
Yes, sir.
Glory to God.
Glory to
and I thought y'all to get excited about that because even if it ain't here yet, that means you're pregnant with it. And the oil ain't gonna fall until you burn that thing out. You got another song.
Yes, sir.
You got another song. So he says, I do got another James out in the field working. Y'all know the story, James. They called David. David gets sick, and the oil finds him. And the oil falls. David understood within that context, watch this, the idea of his identity is inserted because of affirmation and endorsement. The oil validated his identity, but that was just the first level. Because a lot of y'all authentically have an oil, but you still don't know who you are. No, I know I got an anointing called from my mother's womb. Before your mama knew you, or before you knew yourself, I sanctified you and ordained you to be a prophet. Come on, Jeremiah. I mean, you know you got oil, but you still don't have no clue of who you are, about who you are. Anointed and clueless.
My God. That's good stuff.
That's the perplexity of the warfare of the modern day church.
Yes, sir.
We have a bunch of anointed people who are playing bumper cars because they have no clue about who they are. And they want to jump on the first ship that they think they identify with, but that is not your identity. You're sitting in a dead cold box church. It don't even match your identity, but because it is convenient, you'll sit there and die. And some of y'all, ladies and gentlemen, this is the season God is causing you to tap your identity. Your tribe is here. I need somebody to scream in this room because your identity is being restored. David is anointed, and he still has no idea, Pastor Chandler, of the context of the oil falling on him. And this is why I know, because after that endorsement, he goes back into the field. And pick up the same thing he was doing before he got there. No, he didn't activate it into identity because he just had the idea and went back behind the mountain and became accustomed to what he had become familiar with. Got an oil and don't even know that this signified my promotion. And a lot of y'all, you're just like that. You sit in the context of certain atmospheres, the oil fall on you, but because you just have the idea, you leave out of the church and go plug right back into the context of your familiarity, and you don't begin to make an immediate investment in your identity.
That's so good.
David goes back, and I'm just trying to show you the trajectory of this journey so I can bring you to First Chronicles. He goes